In this problem, I'm just going to show you how to pick out the information that you need from the problem. So our n is the number of entries, and then they give us the probability of 0.5. So n was 16 and p is 0.5. And then it says, what is the probability that no less than 6 blah, blah, blah. This is just the part that we need to know. What probability are we looking for? And then we're going to round to 4 places. Now this wording right here translates to this statement, and you can find that on this handout that I sent you in an email, maybe late last week. So we see that the wording no less than a number means that you're going to write it like this. So use this guide. We're only going to use this part in chapter 7. We'll use the whole thing when we get to chapter 8, but this will help you figure out what these words mean and how to write it mathematically. Okay, so now we have our 3 pieces of information. Now this problem, this is how we're going to think about this. Again, these trials, these 16 trials are our x values, and each one of them has some probability. That's what we're kind of trying to figure out. But for this problem, we're being asked the probability for all the x values that are greater than or equal to 6. So this is what they're asking us for. Now, it would take us, this problem is already long enough without us having to do x equals 6, x equals 7, x equals 8, x equals 9, x equals 10, all the way up to x equals 16. So to make it simpler, we're going to do what's called using the complement. Okay? So this is true for finding the probability of x being greater than or equal to 6. Instead of doing this, we can actually, it's the same as doing 1 minus the probability of x being less than 6. Okay, so if you can remember, we talked about how all these probabilities, if we add them all together, they equal to 1. They have to. That's part of being a binomial distribution. Okay, so that's why we can say we could take all these probabilities that add up to 1, and we could subtract these, the ones that are x less than 6, and then we would get the answer for this part. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. Instead of calculating x equals each one of these, we're going to go this way, and that's going to make it a little bit less tedious. So that's what I've done here. And you could pause the video if you needed to write down all of this work. It's exactly what I've done in previous problems, where I've just gone one step at a time, setting x equal to a number, calculating the NCX situation to get a number, and then putting that number in the equation. So it's that number times p to the power of x, which is 0 this time, times 1 minus p to the power of n minus x. Just put that in the calculator. I write the whole number out. Okay, and then I did that for every single one of these, x equals 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like I'm trying to do right here. Okay, now just a note about your calculator. This number right here might look something like this with this -5 at the end. And this is telling us that we would take this number and move the decimal 5 places to the left from here. And that's actually what happened here. Okay, so don't let that notation confuse you. Okay, once you get all of this figured out, Then you're adding each of these values, which is what I did. This is my number that I added, that I got when I added all of these. Then we're going to use this, 1 minus all that work that you did. And that's what I have here, 1 minus this number. And that gives me my answer that I'm going to round to 4 places.